Hello and welcome to the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord, your talk show bestie. I'm so excited you're here. Whether this is your very first time, welcome, or you've been here a ton of times before, you should know that this show is all about helping you live life and live it to the full. We are tackling topics around fashion, fitness, being a founder, family, and literally everything in between. I am so excited, you guys. We have an epic show ahead for you. You're not going to believe this, but my own sister, Angel McCord, is here. And yes, some of my show veterans know that my other sister, Annalyn McCord, has been on the show. She is nominated for an Emmy for Days of Our Lives. And so my other sister, Angel, is coming in town to visit and celebrate. So there is more McCord sister goodness coming your way. I can't wait to sit down with her. We also have Steve Bertrand. He is from Convoy of Hope, which is an incredible organization that is making a huge impact in the world. They are on the front lines, the very first organizations to show up in disaster and the last ones to leave. We love them. They are helping people make a huge impact in the world in the ways that they do. It's so amazing. And we also have Sharon Lazar. She is an amazing Wonder Woman of tech, and she is going to talk about the programs that she has put into place. She's been doing with the Obama administration, and she is coming to your neighborhood. So if you're a mama bear like me, you are looking for all the things you can do for your kids to help them. And she does these incredible programs that teaches your kids how to code and how to use STEM research to grow and feel more confident. I'm so thrilled. I cannot wait to chat with her, and you guys are going to love this episode. As you probably know, I am the founder of the McCord List Media Network, where we develop, distribute, and of course, jazz up TV shows and podcasts to help thought leaders share their messages on larger audiences. I'm so glad you're here wherever you're tuning in from. If you have a story or message on your heart, I want you to know that it matters. You are here for a purpose, and the story in your heart needs to come out and come forward. So I would love to be a part of that happening. Check us out on themccordlist.com. We are here for you. I'm Rachel McCord. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Rachel McCord, executive producer, host, and creator of the McCord List Today. Welcome back to the McCord List Today. You guys, you know I have some tricks up my sleeves, and even though I don't have sleeves, I have my sister in studio. Angel McCord is here. Hi.
Hi, baby.
What's it like being my sister?
It's a wild ride and a blessing. It's don't get me started. I'll start crying. How amazed I am with you and this show and what you've made. And now my last name is. I'm coming into something beautiful, like watching you be you, flying into LA for all of the wins for our family. But right now I haven't seen you in action like this. Like I've seen the BTS, but to be BTS, and I'm like, I hope my makeup stays.
Oh my gosh, I love you. You're so sweet. Wow. I mean, it's wild because I share my story on the show so much. Like what we've been through, like all the things. Well, I mean, not all the things, to be clear, but like quite a bit.
That's what I'm here for.
You know, oh gosh, no. Like that's like when Annalyn met Rick for the first time and she told him that we had grown up in trailer parks, and I was like, I wasn't planning on letting that be the first thing he heard. You know what I mean? I was gonna
guys grew up
hold
there.
It back a little bit.
I don't remember growing up until, sorry, did I cut you off?
You did run away from home from a trailer though.
I mean, I feel like I left, you know?
Yeah, you were running though.
I was.
You were running, you were 16, you were going to the movies, and you never came home.
Well, I think I went to Alaska, but ended up in the movies. How did you?
No,
you
the
knew
movies
that.
was the first thing, remember? Because you were still living at the house in Duluth, and we packed the bag and put it under the house, remember? And then that's when you went to live with that couple, and then you lived with Aunt Lynn, and then you went to Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
You
these
have the
these were
memory.
painful years.
I kind of
remember
blocked it
them.
out.
It's wild. We've had like such a wild journey, and I think about like how, you know, we've all processed it differently.
Yeah.
Annalyn's processed it different. You have. What's your journey been like?
Wow. I say a lot lately, just the gratitude in my heart for, I'm not gonna cry, for how much you've been my big sister. Annalyn's been my big sister. I'm the last one to really address what we came up in and to let go of the painful parts and still love the people that raised us, but love them from a distance. Finding worthiness, fear of success has always been my thing. I've never been afraid of failure. I've always been comfortable in that zone, but to see you successful, to see you and Annalyn healthy, and to know that I could do it, I could get through some of the hardest, most unimaginable, painful things, and to come back with purpose, and to see that being played out right now in my life and with the new beautiful people in my life, and just seeing Jude, seeing you and Ricky, and just all the love, and Annalyn with the Emmy nomination, the party tonight. Like, I'm overwhelmed. Like, I'm not your mother. You're not my mother. Rachel, like, I feel like sometimes, like, the pride I have in my heart is the closest thing right now that I've ever felt to being a mom. Even though, like I said, I don't think that about myself. It's just amazing. I'm so proud of you. And that love and pride, it made me want to show up for myself. So thank you. And thank you, Annalyn, because you guys are my heroes. And I love you so much. Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, overcoming some of the craziest things in life that, literally people I trusted and loved who literally had it out for me. Because I watched this in politics when they want to take you out, your enemy comes for your allies leave you. And I had all that happen, but with the two of you, even though I didn't reach out, you guys were always there. So when I finally did, and now all the blockades are moved, and I'm just moving forward. And so thank you for asking that question. Also, why did you ask that question?
Well, I think it's so powerful to hear it from different perspectives. And I love what you said about the different roles. Like, I'm not your mother, but I feel so much pride. And I think that what happens, and I remember studying this at one point through all of the like grasping at straws to survive. I remember reading that in a broken family, when everyone's not fully sitting in their seat, there's an edge where other people can come and sit. So you see people who come from broken families have a really big chosen family because there's like room in the seat of the parent. There's room in the seat of the sister. And so I think that that's a big piece of it, right? It's like if I don't have what I need, I'm going to like find it somewhere else. And I think for the three of us, we were so bonded together and had that dream of us getting out and being free. And that actually kind of makes me sad the most because it's like, like imagining, like remembering being a kid and then imagining other kids who feel that level of fear and pain and wanting to do something different and not knowing how to. I think that that kind of stuff is big.
Yeah, it's huge. And what you've done is huge. And I think back on all of that, and I'd like to say, I think maybe I stole it from Annalyn, but it's like surviving after the death of innocence. And I've realized recently that's not true. Our innocence didn't die. It wasn't killed. We didn't lose it. We saved it. And with help, we saved it and protected it. And now we're getting to live, and to be free, and to see that in you, to see your beauty and your childlike energy and just the way you bring people in, your big heart. Annalyn's big heart, my big heart. Yeah, me too. Feeling worthiness, what you said about the table. I remember a point where I would make food and have everyone over. And I remember I'd have 4 people coming out for dinner, and sometimes I would set the table with 4 settings. And like, self-abandonment's a real thing. And I'm actually really proud of myself for realizing now that I do belong at the table and that I'm worth it.
So you would set it, 4 people were
Yeah,
coming,
like
but you'd only
accidentally.
set,
Like
you'd forget
accidentally, I would
yourself.
forget to put my own. Yeah. And it was like a metaphor for my life when I saw that through trauma recovery therapy and coaching with Dr. Brand, Dr. Stephen Brand in North Georgia. And my Uncle Bill, who got me there, drove to his house, and I was like, I'm done trying to fight this and pretend it doesn't exist. I'm trying so hard to just pretend it doesn't exist. And I took all that, put all the energy into that, and I turned it around and I put it into me with support. And I was like, everybody was waiting for me to succeed. And I started seeing the world differently. Like, people aren't waiting for me to fail. I'm attracting those people because I believe I'm going to fail. I don't attract those people anymore. They have no place in my life. And I'm just so grateful for the community I have now, and for the family, and for being able to step back into you guys' life. Because I stepped away to protect you guys. And sometimes you needed to protect yourselves from me, and that used to just kill me. But now I'm just so glad that you guys protected yourselves, and now I can come back in as an equal sister. So thank
I
you.
think about two things you just said. One was the energy. I think that's a big thing. When you're trying to recover from pain, you can feel like, oh, this is so much. Like, I cannot take that on. Like, I mean, how many people, like, I talk to people all the time and they share that kind of stuff. And then you're like, well, I love what you just said because you're right. It takes so much more energy to run from the pain than to face it like a bull, you know? And when you are ready, like you've done, like I've seen you do that. And then the second thing I was thinking about was when you were talking about like the feelings around failure. It's like interesting because when you sat down, you said, you've been afraid to succeed.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Because it sounds to me like you have struggled with feeling like people were like cheering for you to fail. And think about it, like you're kind of doing that for yourself too by being afraid to succeed. So what does it mean to be afraid of success?
I think you just hit the nail on the head. When I started to look at things as I'm the architect of my own life, my own failure, my own, even my concept of what people are thinking, it's my perception. I'm bouncing off of people and I'm seeing, like I used to think women didn't like me and they were always against me and they were this and that. And now I'm like, I don't see that anymore. Not only do I not associate with anyone who doesn't respect me, but I also don't bounce those insecurities off of other people and say it was them. And that was a huge, like, just light bulb moment where I was like, I didn't realize how much power. I think as women, we want to empower. A lot of guys don't know that about us. We're not trying to get power. We don't even know the power we have until typically we're too old to realize it. But for me, like, no longer self-sabotaging, seeing what I'm capable of, and especially rejoining my sisters and doing things together. You know, I want to produce movies. You know, I want to have a platform for a message. I want everybody involved in those films to be blessed by it.
I feel like I know people can help you have a platform to have a show, like maybe develop and distribute it. Should we talk about this?
I mean, I would love to talk about anything with you. I love you so much. I'm so inspired by you, and it's rare, but I don't have a lot of words today.
I think you have the perfect amount of words, and I think it's really, really beautiful to see. I mean, obviously, like it's wild with family because, you know, I think maybe there's the natural pivots as you grow in a like relatively like baseline family. I don't know what that would be like because I only know this like dramatic shift. And I think about how when you decide to lean into the future you, I think that's kind of been what I've always done. Like I've always thought about like, who do I want to be? What do I want to see in my life? Not as much as like, what has it been? Now I just talk about that way.
I hear you coach people on that. So maybe you can start helping me with that more.
I love you.
Maybe that's where that started, was with the coaching, and I'm so proud of you. I didn't mean to interrupt. My ADD, I just started thinking about the times where I was struggling, and I'd get on your calls and where you're motivating entrepreneurs, women, and just hearing all their stories. And I was like, sometimes I think I want to be alone. I want to be like, it's just me. I'm the only one going through this. But now I'm like, no, I like that we're all going through this together and we can all support one another. I think we need community more than anything. And thank you for saying that. And thank you for bringing me here today.
Thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you for all you've done, because you showed me what I'm capable of too. And
so much. I love you. We're gonna
love you so much. Oh yeah, we are.
Okay, you guys, don't go anywhere. The Sister Love Fest is gonna carry on through this break. We'll be right back with the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord. Welcome back to the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord, sitting down with Shireen Laor Ross. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so lucky. I got the Wonder Woman of Tech in my studio.
Oh,
what
you're
is
the best.
happening?
Thank you. I know, it's wild. I was obsessed with Wonder Woman as a kid, and then when I worked with Mira Garcetti throughout the years, he was like, "You're the Wonder Woman of Tech." I was like, "That's awesome," because I grew up with Wonder Woman, so I appreciate that so much.
This is incredible. You're helping so many people. You're helping girls through STEM with the Academy. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. So it kind of starts with a long story. I was obsessed with the movie Big with Tom Hanks. That's where it started for me. That was my dream job. And that's what I used to do. 26 years ago, I started at Mattel in research on Barbie. And then I ended up going to MGA and working on Bratz and being the brand manager for Bratz as well. And parents would come in and complain about how they weren't positive role models for girls. And I was like, I don't understand. I had a dream job. I had everything I ever wanted. Like, what happened? I had an existential crisis in my 20s, which led me to kind of like Eat, Pray, Love, except I didn't do anything fancy or go to Bali or anything like that. But I did meet Deepak Chopra. He was the first one I met, and that was a clue. I didn't know who he was. This is 2005. And then I met Simon Sinek, and he had just written this book called Start With Why, and same thing, I ran up to him and I was like, what do you do when you get your dream? Because I don't know what to do with myself. He was like, what's your purpose and why? So everybody kind of gave me a clue, which led me to start Playworks, and then Whiz Girls Academy started with the Obama administration.
So tell me about that. What was it like working with the administration?
It was wild. I always made a joke and I said I was gonna, and ironically, I lived right up the street here on Barrington, and they would shut down my street and the president would come through because that's where he would come through. And I said I was gonna go downstairs and hold a sign that said STEM, female, minority, founder, tech, like all the initiatives that they had. I never did it. I kind of put it out into the universe, and then I don't know, maybe it was a year or something, 6 months later, I don't remember exactly. Like, I got an email from Debbie Wasserman Schultz, which was the head of the DNC at the time. And she was like, we're having this event in LA. We heard about you. We'd love to have you come join us. And then when I met her, she's like, we need you at the White House. And I was like, oh my God, I think the universe heard like my joke.
Wow, what a dream.
Yeah, I know, it's wild.
So tell me about the program.
So we started originally, our first ever hackathon was at Cross Campus in Santa Monica, and that was, we had 4 days right after Christmas to make it happen. So I was literally running on the beach and calling friends and saying, please show up, we're gonna be like live at the White House, like please, like don't embarrass me. And we had like 80 people show up, which was magical. And at the time I had a partnership with the Girl Scouts. They were beta testing the game, so that was fun. And it just kind of took off. And that original hackathon was, the intent was to get more women and girls excited about civic leadership, and how could we do that through this hackathon? So that was a great success, and they were like, you got to keep doing this, and I was like, no, I'm already bootstrapping a tech gaming startup. I don't know if I could do another thing, and they're like, no, you can, because you actually learned how to code, which ironically I did in Westwood here also, elementary school. I had a female computer science teacher in the 80s that taught me Fortran on an Apple IIc green screen, and I played Carmen Sandiego every single day. Yeah, and if I didn't watch the movie Big, I would have stuck to that, because at home I had Atari and Nintendo. I was obsessed with tech. But I had the like journey of learn the business of kids, the business of entertainment for kids, like, you know, branding, marketing, all the things, market research. And then, you know, and I call it being on the tech yellow brick road, hence why I love your shoes. I was like, it's awesome.
Oh my goodness, what an inspiring story. So ever since you were in elementary school, you've been coding.
Yeah, well, only one language, but I didn't forget. I kind of had it in the back of my mind until I saw the movie Hidden Figures. I've always been inspired by movies. And it's been interesting to see like those women were coders back in the day and the whole thing with NASA and all that. And I was like, wait a minute, that's where I first learned how to code. Like, it all came together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have there been these moments where you're just kind of like, pinch me a little bit? I mean, this is a pretty remarkable career. Tell me about some of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first one was actually getting to be like Tom Hanks in the movie Big. It was like, I pursued my boss at Mattel for an informational interview, and for 9 months he was like, no, we don't have a job. But I was like, I'm gonna go to the toy fair, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I kept in touch with him for 9 months. Until I finally went to Toy Fair and he was like, you're not gonna get a job, haha. I was like, yeah, but it's Toy Fair. It's like the International Toy Fair in New York. It's massive. And then he called me and he was like, we love you, like we love you're so inspiring, your grit, your perseverance. Like we want somebody like you on our team. So he created a job. So that was the first one. And then ironically, the second one is the day I decided to quit my job at Mattel, because he was like, you got to go back and get a master's or a PhD to grow with us, because he had a PhD as the head of research. I was like, no, what do you mean? Like, I've done all the research, I know everything. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, no. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to quit my job. I told all of my cubicle mates, I was like, I'm not coming back Monday. They're like, what do you mean? You wanted to be here? Like, I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. So I ended up running to the kid that played in the movie Big at my gym. I used to go there all the time. So I walk in, I used to go kickboxing, and he walks in and I was like, is that Josh from the movie Big? And the guy's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, like what are the odds? The day I decided to quit my job. Yeah, so there's been these like pivotal, right? And then the whole thing with Deepak Chopra, I didn't know who he was in 2005, but he was like, you have to give back. And I was like, I don't understand what that means. Like, and then Simon, so there's been, and then the White House, my joke that I put out into the universe, like, yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
that
yeah.
one's pretty iconic. I got
Yeah.
to speak on a stage that I shared with Michelle Obama,
That's
which was
amazing.
kind of amazing. It was for the United States of Women event.
I love it.
So-
I was there.
Oh my gosh.
In 2017.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
was there.
goodness, That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wild. So
Yeah.
I spoke on
Yeah.
Bootstrap Founders.
I love it.
It was
I love
such
it.
an honor. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
it's so crazy
Yeah.
because I think like when I was asked to the event, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I think it's really exciting when you're able to do what you love and then see these moments of your career that
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, like that
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
really exciting.
Totally. I agree. And it's phenomenal to kind of be like you're on your path. And it's not necessarily easy and it's not necessarily like it's a silver platter that's handed. It's like you're working for it, right? But it's also, for me, it's more like just more than a startup. It's really like a life purpose, a life mission, you know?
What would you like to share to the youth through the work that you're doing?
So I think the goal is to really get them to see that like STEM careers are fun and exciting. And there's so much more now than there ever was, right?
That's
Sorry, one sec.
incredible. I feel like that's really what I've been trying to teach my son. He's only 5 at the right now, but you know, for me, it's like, how can I help him find his path and find his journey and be inspired to learn and never stop?
Right. And that's the thing with kids, especially, I mean, girls, boys, doesn't matter. Like, it's so important to empower them at a young age to be like, you can do anything you want in the world. And with technology, and now with AI, it's like a million times more exciting because it's another amazing tool that they can use in their toolbox. Like for me back then it was coding or like movies that were inspiring or like people that I can say, oh, this person, I want to be like this person. But it was like Tom Hanks, right? And everybody kept saying, but that's a guy, you want to be like a guy? I'm like, no, I want to test toys. Like, isn't that a cool job to get paid testing toys, right? So for the kids nowadays, it's like, hey, you can do whatever you want, especially with technology. Now they're all about YouTube and like Roblox and all these things, but like, hey, you can make a Roblox too. Do you know how that works, right? You can be like Mr. Beast too. Do you know how that works? Like, not just be a consumer, but actually like making them do things to, you know, get them to be empowered to be that leader as well.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on AI? Obviously, it sounds like you're seeing it as a tool and the tool
Yeah.
belt. Like, are there any concerns that you have knowing what you know about tech?
That's a good question. So initially I was a little bit hesitant because everyone was talking about AI and oh my God, what's going to happen? But then I was like, wait a minute, we had Google and everybody freaked out about Google back then, right? And then there was Y2K. And then I watched The Gilded Age recently and I was like, they were all freaking out about railroads back then. So every time there's a new invention in a sense or a new tool, everyone's like kind of scared because it's new. But then once you figure out how to use it, it's like, oh no, it's just a tool. Like I personally was a part of a hackathon for a month-long thing, which was now it's
Okay,
known.
what is a hackathon?
Okay, so I'll tell you. The Social Network movie, the Facebook movie, that's
Yes.
technically a hackathon, except they were building Facebook and they were chugging beer and it was a whole process. So when I do it with the kids, we teach them to meditate, we do fitness, we do healthy eating. We teach them how to pitch like Shark Tank style. In the end, they actually pitch Shark Tank style. So we're feeding in like the healthy, balanced tech lifestyle stuff in between like the hacking and the building and everything because we want them to have a total healthy, balanced tech lifestyle.
And what's the age group of these children?
So we go as young as 8 years old. My core demo technically is 8 to 13 because that's where they shift, especially girls from STEM. But I used to teach at USC and we've done high school, we've done Job Corps, which is a Department of Labor program. We did teacher trainings for LA's Best, which is an after school program. So we had a wide range. And the good news is when I did all the research, when the White House kept coming and saying, you got to do this, I was like, wait, but there's all these coding programs, right? I can't just do another one. But then I was like, okay, project-based learning is huge and everything we do is mission spy adventure. So in the morning I tell the kids, you're all super secret agents. And that way there's no gender in a sense, even though it's called Whiz Girls. They get to choose their secret agent name. They get to choose all the tools they want. And in the end, when they pitch Shark Tank style, it's like, especially because if they're under 13, we have COPA rules and regulations. I don't want to out them. So we make it really fun and friendly and it's all themed project-based learning.
I love that. This
Yeah.
is incredible. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
sharing
me.
your incredible wisdom.
Thank you for
Oh my
having me.
goodness. And just crushing it in general.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been exciting to be on this, I call it, like I said, Tech Yellow Brick Road. I'm going to write a book about it. I don't have an ending yet, but it's in progress.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That is our show here on the McCord List today. I cannot wait to see you next time. We will see you soon. Welcome back to the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord, sitting down with Steve Bertrand. What a beautiful story. So you've had this incredible career. You've had Billboard charted songs as a composer on everything from Netflix, Hulu, all the things. You've got to talk about that. And now you've had a huge career pivot. Take me back a few years. Take me back.
Well, it all started when I was 5. No, just kidding. No, I mean, I told my parents, I grew up in Vermont. I told my parents when I was like 19, I said, I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to be a rock star. And they said, that sounds like a terrible idea. I had $500 and I moved into a sleazy motel on Sunset Boulevard next to a Seventh Veil strip club. And just watched miracles started unfolding before me. Ended up getting a record deal with Sony. And next thing I know, my band's on MTV and traveling the world. And did that 5 different times and got to be a rock star for 12 and a half minutes. If everyone gets 15 minutes of fame, I had about 11 and a half or 12 and a half minutes of fame. But yeah, pivoted to film and television after that. Did a ton of shows, one with Christina Applegate that really kind of helped me launch, got an ASCAP Film and TV Award and People's Choice Award, and that kind of embedded me in the film and TV world. Met my wife and was like, how can I stop touring? Because I didn't go to law school. And so I pivoted to a TV show called The Voice, where I was able to be in the house band behind the contestants and stop touring. And did that for a couple of seasons, and really, it really wasn't my thing. I wanted to kind of carve my own path, and ended up over at Netflix for a minute, mixing movie trailers, and ultimately just reached a place after getting married where I just, had a couple of kids, and I just felt like God said, I have a lot more for your life. And so made a huge pivot out of the entertainment industry into a faith-based humanitarian organization called Convoy of Hope.
Wow. Okay, so take me back for a second, because I mean, in another life, I would have been a singer. I love music so much. So hearing you talk about touring kind of makes me a little giddy. So prior to God giving you this massive U-turn, which I totally appreciate because he's given me quite a few, and I'm like, wait a minute, where am I going? You were touring. What was that like? Like day to day, like give it to me real talk.
Well, let's see. So it's great and it's horrible. Like, I didn't have to make my bed. I had basically a babysitter telling me be here, be there. So that's wonderful. I got to see the world. But honestly, for me, it was lonely. It was a lonely existence. I've been sober for many years, but was trying to find love and a connection in that, and it was very, very difficult to find that. My parents were married, had a great relationship before my dad passed away. So I knew that that's what I wanted. I wanted a family, and so. I mean, it was incredible. Like, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I probably would have made some different life decisions. I got a little bit wild and out on the road, but it was time when it happened. It was time to make that pivot and figure out like what was next for me in my life.
That's beautiful. And you found your wife 19 years ago. You guys have been dating, and 17 years married?
17 and 19 together. I've never done anything for 19 years. It's a miracle.
Yeah, I know marriage will do that too. I feel like marriage and kids will like really timestamp it. Like, oh my gosh, like I've been doing this for a long time.
Well, as you know, I was single for quite some time, and you get married and you realize, oh wow, it's not all about me, and I'm incredibly selfish. And then you have babies and you're like, oh, I'm really selfish, and now it's really not about me. But just to kind of come back to where I ended up, this idea of success. Hollywood is all about success, right? And having a bunch of stuff on your resume and tasting everything that the world has to offer. Anyone that's really, really honest, if you've had money and success and all of that stuff, it's just not enough. And so making that pivot from success to significance was super important for me. Having kids, seeing them love people, leading with love and doing something. And I think right around COVID, like I just had an epiphany moment where I was like, I was built for more than what I'm doing at the moment. And there's a world, that's noisy. Everyone's angry at each other. And I just told my wife, I was like, I have to do something that is helping lead with love and be one little small voice, one little small cog in the wheel of putting something good back into the world.
Wow. So over 700 people work at Convoy of Hope.
Yeah.
And you're making such an impact. What is it like working for this organization, and what exactly do you do?
Well, if you'll indulge me, I'll give you a 30-second story that I think will help frame this. So there was a young boy, this is many years ago, young boy and his siblings says, Mom and Dad, we're headed out to a meeting at a church. Babysitter arrives, Mom and Dad take off. About 20 minutes later, a knock at the door, and the police are there. And they say, your mom and dad were just hit by a drunk driver. Your dad was killed instantly, and your mom is gravely, gravely injured. His mother ends up spending over a year in the hospital, never fully recovers. And the police literally from the porch of their home says, who will take these kids? Like, someone needs to take them, or we're going to call, social services. This wonderful family takes them in, and they end up kind of living with them for an extended period of time. But this young man gets a great education, becomes a journalist, finds himself on assignment in India. And while he's there, is asked to be involved in a meeting. And so he walks into a room. He's like, I'm in India, I'm gonna take a meeting. He walks in and he sits down, and he's sitting across the table from Mother Teresa, and has this incredible encounter with Mother Teresa. And at the end of the meeting, she simply said to him in a very, very kind way, young man, let me ask you, what are you doing to help the poor and the suffering? And so he said, I had two options. I could lie to Mother Teresa, which I didn't think was a good idea, or I could tell her the truth, which is I'm not doing anything or much of anything. And she said again in a very kind way to him, everybody can do something. Go and do the next kind thing. So he moved back, he came back, and he was just wrecked the whole trip back. Came back to Northern California, took a few $100s out of his savings account, bought some groceries, started feeding some folks that were struggling in the Northern California area. And that was the beginning of Convoy of Hope 31 years ago. That's my boss, Hal Donaldson, who is just the most incredible man I've ever met.
What a beautiful story.
Yeah, so we're now in 40 countries, about 700 people. We deal with hunger, poverty, and suffering all around the world. Most people know us in the U.S. from disaster response. Currently in Texas, dealing with the floods, still doing cleanup from the hurricanes from North Carolina down to Florida. Still in Maui, dealing with the god-awful stuff there, the fires here in SoCal. I mean, we delivered over 1 million pounds of food, water, hygiene supplies, worked with the Dream Center here. Pastor Matthew's a huge partner of ours. And so most people know us from that stuff, but we also have about close to 700,000 kids we feed per day around the world. We're scaling up to 1 million. We have a women's empowerment program, which is really, really huge. As you know, women are second-class citizens in many, many countries, and so we're really doing a lot of work in that area. We have an agriculture program to help farmers learn how to raise their yields. If there's a drought in Kenya and we can help them raise the corn yields even 5%, we're literally saving lives. So we're in a whole bunch of different areas. We have community events that we do, and so it's literally the most important work I've ever done in my life.
What an incredible story that this all started with a question from Mother Teresa. I mean, how many people can say that? And I think about it myself and what we're teaching our children and what we're sharing the world. Like, what are you doing right now to heal the sick, to hurt the people who are struggling, to provide for them? And how beautiful to have started that. How did you feel like God told you that big U-turn? How did we go from rock star to Convoy of Hope?
Well, so there's this idea of time, talent, and treasure, right? We all have one of those resources, and some of us have multiple. That my kids didn't just see mom and dad writing checks and being generous to people, but actually doing something. And when I met Hal, our founder, there was this opportunity to come into a little team that we have that works primarily with influencers, with celebrities. But if someone like yourself, or if someone like, if people that have public personas do that, it moves the needle. And so when I was presented with this opportunity to leverage relationships for good, I was like, that's a no-brainer.
Wow.
right? So that's
And you had so many from your career, I'm sure.
yeah, it's been there's been nothing wasted. It's such an incredible pivot from the music industry and film and television, but all of my friends are mostly actors and actresses and cameramen and DPs and directors. So there's been nothing wasted. Like just reconnecting with people that I haven't talked to in years and sitting here with you, like that's all part of the backstory. Like everything led to this moment.
Wow. Doesn't he always do it so well? How can we get involved and support Convoy of Hope?
I mean, you can find us at convoyofhope.org, not .com, so convoyofhope.org. But again, it's time, talent, and treasure. These are the resources that we're looking for. So I have friends that are like, bro, I will never go to Tanzania with you and help you build a well. I just won't. But I've got 2 million followers and I'll help you get your message out. So something that's really important to note, because people are sketched out by nonprofits. There's been a lot of impropriety. So we just moved up from number 35 in Forbes to number 27 out of over 2 million nonprofits, okay? Because we get 91 cents of every dollar to those in need. So super high integrity. And so, reach out to us at convoyofhope.org, get involved. I mean, if you're a social media person, lend your time, talent, or treasure, and everybody can do something, right? Let's figure out how to do the next kind thing.
I love it. Thank you, Steve. This was incredible. Thank you, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord.